Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today on Around Kansas, join us for a story about Tom Alderdice, his connection to the Forsyth Scouts, and the upcoming Beecher Island events. Then join us for a story about mule deer, and next we'll have a poem from Ron Wilson, and we'll end with a look at local art collectors Chris and John Grandmontagne. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Good morning, everybody. Well, I'm not Frank. God bless him. Frank is a little under the weather this morning, so I get the hosting duties today. And I'd love to be sending Frank out into the field, but I guess he's not up to that either. But we're just hoping he's up and around and feeling lots better lots soon. So you all send him some good wishes. Listen in to Ren Radio and tell Frank that Deb sent you over there. Hey guys, I don't know about you, but my summer has been incredibly busy, and it's just getting busier all the time. But there's so many cool things going on and so much to take advantage of. This month, July, it's almost over, but shoot, it's going to end on a busy note. On July 28th, if you're around Nicodemus, we just did a segment, I think last week, on the Nicodemus Homecoming. So that's coming up this Saturday. And Dr. Jake will be in the parade there. Those guys at Nicodemus, the Buffalo Soldiers, reenactors, have been so good to help us out with so many events, and we'll be doing that again this year. So we're thrilled to be able to return the favor and go over and be part of their homecoming. And then in Sharon Springs, meanwhile, J.D. Perry is taking another part of the reenacting group, and they're going to be in the Wallace County Parade. And lots of fair parades going on all over the state, so there's no reason to stay at home and be bored. There's so much to do. Now, another event that I want to tell you about on July 29th, that's a Sunday afternoon, I will be speaking at the Topeka-Shawnee County Public Library on my music book, Kansas Music, Stories of a Rich Tradition. And the library has graciously allowed me to invite a few dozen of my bestest friends and who happen to be very talented musicians to come and jam. So we're going to have a good time. Hope to see you there. It'll be great to be back among friends in Topeka again, and especially musical friends. So hope you can join us there too. Then on August 5th, another Sunday, I'll be speaking at the Grainfield Opera House. And that's right on Main Street in Grainfield, Kansas. The Grainfield Opera House is a gorgeously restored old opera house. Remember Frank telling you all the towns used to have one? Joining me that day will be my dear friend Marla Mackin, who portrays Libby Custer, and then a few of our reenactor friends who are portraying the Forsyth Scouts this year. And you've heard me talk about it. You're going to hear me talking about it till it's through. But the 150th anniversary of the Battle of Beecher Island and the grand reunion of Forsyth Scouts is a really big deal. It's a pretty historic event for Kansas and for Colorado, and we're just thrilled to be part of it. Forts Harker, Hayes, Wallace, Ray, Colorado, the Beecher Island Memorial, and then Lincoln County Historical Society too. So lots of great events going on along those lines. And August 5th, I'll tell you all about it at Grainfield. Also, a shout out to Carolyn Applegate. The Norton Magazine should be circulating right now. Carolyn did a feature on Around Kansas, and then a feature on Frankie and myself, and even the Fort Wallace Museum. Carolyn does a beautiful job with that magazine, and of course, Norton County up there in northwestern Kansas has a lot to brag about, a lot going on, and we appreciate everybody in that area watching Around Kansas and being fans, and just want to give a shout out to each one of you that make my being here possible. And once again, Get well, Frankie. We sure do miss you. Stay with us. Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to western Kansas.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandring with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Welcome to Kansas, gateway to...
Most of the time, the name of Tom Alderdice is mentioned in the history books because of his wife, Susanna, a story we will get to in a moment. But even before the tragedy that made headlines with his family, Tom had led an interesting life. Tom was a Pennsylvanian, but he had served in the Confederate Army from Mississippi. Captured at Chickamauga, he found himself a prisoner of war at Rock Island, Illinois. Then he became galvanized and was sent to Kansas in the Union Army. Upon discharge, he remained in Kansas to start a new life. He met the widow, Susanna Daly, who had moved to Salina with her parents, 2 small children in tow. Tom and Susanna married and homesteaded along the Saline River near Spillman Creek, pretty close to present-day Lincoln, Kansas. They had 2 children themselves and lives full of hope and promise. Then came the Indian raids, and settlements along the Solomon River in Mitchell and Cloud counties were hit the hardest. In response, the Army would form an elite group of civilian scouts to find the hostiles' location. Tom answered the call, as did his brother-in-law, Eli Ziegler, the youngest to sign on with Major George Forsyth. The men from this neighborhood were called the Solomon Avengers and were out for blood to atone for that spilled along the Solomon. These 2 men survived the scouts' ordeal at what would become known as Beecher Island and returned to their homes. But all was not peaceful. The following year, Susanna, expecting her 5th child, was kidnapped, clutching her baby girl Alice. Her boys were shot down and left for dead in front of her. When Tom took up the trail, he found the body of his little girl, strangled and tossed aside for crying. As the 5th Cavalry engaged the Cheyennes at Summit Springs, Colorado Territory, in an attempt to rescue Susanna and another captive, Susanna was killed. A proper Christian burial was conducted the next day, and the grave was not marked so that it would not be disturbed. It remains lost to time. In the grand reunion of Forsyth Scouts, Tom Alderdice will be portrayed by veteran performer Tom Leahy of Conway Springs, Kansas. Folks may recognize Tom as having portrayed Abraham Lincoln in the Lincoln Day events or as Quantrell in the Lone Chimney Films production Bloody Dawn.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Fort Wallace was the fightingest fort in the West. Fossils, Indians, soldiers, scouts, wagons, trails, pioneers, stories. Discover the story of Fort Wallace and the people who served here, the people who fought here, the people who settled here. Wallace County, where the past is present.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
Summer is busy at Tarwater Farm and Home. We have just about everything you'll need for your summer projects, and we're consistently competitively priced. Tarwaters can help make your grass and garden grow, and we have a huge variety of equipment to cut it. If you have a farm, Tarwaters has the products and equipment to keep it going strong. And our expanded parking lot will make it even more convenient to shop. So come see us at Tarwater Farm and Home in Topeka.
150 years ago, 50 men rode from Kansas into the Colorado Territory where hundreds of Cheyennes waited. They met on a fork of the Arickaree River and made history. Join us as we retrace their steps at sites in both states, Forts Harker, Hayes, and Wallace, the Beecher Island Battleground and Ray, Colorado Museum, with added events in Lincoln. Join us for the grand reunion of the Forsyth Scouts.
This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
Mule deer are icons of the American West. Mule deer are generally easy to identify due to their large mule-like ears, generally 3/4 the length of their head. They usually have a distinct black forehead or mask that contrasts sharply with a light gray face. The light facial coloration makes the eye rings and muzzle markings seem less obvious. Mule deer are brownish gray in color, have a white rump patch and a small white tail with a black tip. Mule deer are primarily browsers, with the majority of their diet comprised of weeds and leaves, twigs, and woody shrubs. Some biologists estimate that the mule deer's sense of smell is up to 1,000 times stronger than a human's. Research suggests that a mule deer can detect human odor up to half a mile away. They can detect water that is up to 2 feet below the ground. Because the eyes of mule deer are located on the sides of their head, they can see a 310-degree view around themselves. They have better night vision than humans, but less accurate daytime and color vision. Mule deer can detect slight predator movement up to 600 meters away, but they are not very good at detecting motionless forms. A mule deer does not flag its tail like a white-tailed deer, but often bounces away in a motion called stotting, in which all 4 hooves are pushed off the ground at the same time. With each bound, a mule deer may jump as high as 2 feet and as far as 15 feet. A mule deer may not escape as fast as a white-tailed deer, but a mule deer is more effective in quickly moving through a rugged terrain.
Welcome to Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in Oakley, Kansas on I-70 at exit 76. I-70, after all, is America's Main Street, and we're right here on Main Street for you. Now that I'm an Oakley resident, I still come in almost every day, and I sit and listen to the conversations of the people around me. You know, the guys who are talking about the big elk they just bagged, or the folks who are taking their kid to college for the first time. People just traveling up and down the highway. Real people, just like you and me. And they find just what I find here, real people to serve them. There's history, there's scenery. We hope you'll stop and see us soon. Welcome to Oakley.
I'm Rexanne Struve, veterinarian in Western Iowa. I have a veterinary clinic and started doing stem cell therapy on dogs in August of 2014. And after the first 2 dogs, after 3 weeks, I saw such dramatic results. I said, hey, I have arthritis. I have joints that really need this help. Where can I go to get this done? I had stem cell therapy done in November of 2014 on my finger joints, my hip, and the ball of my left foot, all of which I'd had real severe problems with. Saw a pretty dramatic improvement in a short amount of time. I would certainly recommend that somebody don't wait until I'm in the position that I was in with the damage already done to my joints. I encourage veterinarians to use it for their animals, and I encourage anybody who sees this video, if you have need, get in contact with these people, because this is a phenomenal place to have this done.
Welcome to the Jerry Thomas Gallery and Collection, where we showcase my renowned frontier military and Native American artifacts. Behind me you see a touch of fall. We put together not only the beauty of Micah Highwalking, who is the first graduate of West Point of the Northern Cheyenne people and a dear friend, but also a Hudson's Bay blanket that I have here in the gallery. The unique opportunity that I was able to have was we unveiled this painting and surprised Micah at Custer Battlefield, a true honor.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
With nearly 100 years of broadcasting excellence, Ren Radio is now live on the internet playing hit songs of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Join Jack Diamond, Mac Collins, Les Glenn, Frankie C., Antonio Barber, Wings Callahan, and the real Don Steele for some of the best music ever recorded. Hear it at rendigitalmedia.com or get the Ren Oldies Radio app in Play Store or App Store and tell Alexa, good times and great oldies on Ren Internet Radio.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
One of the joys we have is a good ranch dog, but those ranch dogs sometimes get into misadventures. This poem is entitled Lost and Found. I have a good dog. His name is Jake. Australian Shepherd is his make. He roams around our ranch with pride and goes with me when I walk or ride. One day he went with me to chore, as he's done hundreds of times before. I went to the granary to get some feed and proceeded with my usual deeds. That night I put dog food in Jake's bowl, but I didn't see a single soul. I wasn't worried about where he went. He was probably at Grandma's or chasing some scent. But the next day I didn't see Jake at all, and he didn't come when I yelled or called. By the third day I was really worried. Around to all the neighbors we hurried. We called the shelter, put posts all around, but the results were the same. No Jake had been found. With a heavy heart, I went to chore. When I heard a scratching inside the granary side door, I found Jake in the corner bin, where unbeknownst to me, that silly dog jumped in. Jake and I had a joyful reunion and rejoined the family in happy communion. I've got to tell the neighbors, but it'll be kind of hard, because the dog I was looking for was in my own backyard. Happy trails.
My name's Karen Cope, and I have multiple sclerosis. When you have MS, on the outside you look great, but you know what's really going on in the inside is chronic body pain, chronic fatigue. And there's lots of days that I'd wake up and say, oh, please God, help me get through this day. You know, after stem cells, Chloe, my youngest daughter, she was asked by my father-in-law, how's your mom doing? And Chloe said, Grandpa, I've never had a mom like this before. Because she was 8 when I was diagnosed, and she really had no other memory of me but being sick. It's really the simple things that we do as a family, like play cards, and to be able to win at cards. You know, they all laugh because I used to repeat myself and say, what hand are we on? You know, where are we at? And it's just been really a true blessing from God, and we're really thankful.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer and work with you.
Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program. 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
I can't wait to hear what my friend Chris Grandmontagne has to say about the decor in this room. She is an incredibly talented woman. She and her husband John are just two of my favorite people and have made a career of just making the world a more beautiful place, starting with your own home. So let's take a look at my dear friend, Chris Grandmontagne. In 1989, Chris and John Grandmontagne quit their jobs. Their jobs paid well, so that decision wasn't easy. They opened a small vintage furniture and collectible shop, complete with architectural salvage items. They also pursued their love of interior design. Chris and John have made a beautiful family and a great creative team. They seem to complement each other perfectly. That partnership results in some wonderful design ideas, unique, original, and always with a little of the wow factor thrown in. In 1993, with the design business growing, they closed the shop and purchased a 40,000 square foot building where they warehoused all their inventory and added more. They continued to sell merchandise wholesale to pickers and dealers traveling from coast to coast and used the treasures in their own design projects. Their reputation grew and spread far beyond Pica. By 2006, their current building went on the market and Chris had to have it. That is in addition to the 40,000 square foot warehouse. In June of that year, Warehouse 414 was opened, bringing John and Chris's dream full circle. The unique shop quickly became a gem in the city, hosting First Friday Art Walk and becoming creative central for many in the arts community. John and Chris have always been deeply involved in the community, especially where arts and theater are concerned. Chris had served on the boards of Arts Connect and the Friends of the Mulvane Art Museum. In 2009, they received a Preservation Award for the building, and in 2012, an Artie Award for their patronage of the arts. In 2016, they began, quote, retiring from the design business to devote their time to building an online selling presence. They created a website, warehouse414.com. The online business has boomed, and they are a top 25% dealer on 1stDibs, a prestigious online selling platform, a dealer on Cherish, another online provider of furniture and accessories to interior designers and the public, and were asked to become and are a dealer on a specialized portion of eBay called the eBay Collective. They turned the West Gallery into a photography studio for high-end furnishing, collectibles, and home accessories. Chris now spends her days finding treasures, while John and their nephew Andrew clean them, repair them, and ultimately make them ready to use. Chris describes these treasures and her assistant Bobby photographs them. Since selling online, they have shipped items all over the United States, as well as to France, China, Japan, England, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. Their goal is to keep growing so that they can hire additional help so that they can have more time to travel the world and treasure hunt. Folks, it was great being with you this morning. Love to Frankie. We'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
is more than tornadoes. We're the best part